Okay, so today I'm going to be looking at how I wired up the Badlands ZXR 5,000 pound winch on my 19 King Quad 750. So my other video, or one of my videos I did where I had the winch mounted and everything, and so this one I'm going to show kind of how I wired this one up. Again, this is not really the standard winch you would put on a this kind of ATV. This is really more of a side-by-side type of winch where you can mount it. And again, you pretty much have to do a radiator relocate like I did there, but to get this thing to fit in here properly. So as far as wiring, pretty simple. Got it here, no problem. Let's see, up in here, just kind of tuck some of these wires up, the yellow and the blue, kind of tucked them up there, and run them up to the solenoid up there. So not much there to really see. Your hot and ground from the battery on the King Quads, they give you a hose that runs through back there, back towards the battery compartment. So that's nice. You kind of just run your hot and your ground. I've just kind of got them tied together up in here with that going up top. So up top, up here is where I decided to mount solenoid switch. I've got all the wires coming up down, or coming from, you know, down there up and right to here. A lot of people will have this back here under the seat. Unfortunately, the yellow and the blue wires is only so long, and this is about as far as you can make them reach. And I kind of liked it. I didn't really mind it being up here anyway. If you ever have an issue, it's right here on top. So those run up there pretty nice, and as you can see, I just put a little self-tapping screw in there right into the rack, which so far seems to be holding up pretty good. As far as the I'll go around here to this. This is where I mounted this here is where you would hook in your, no, I'm sorry, this would be where you would use your 10 or 15 foot in and out switch. It does come with a handlebar mounted, but I really just chose not to use that. And what I've done is this, I've got these tucked up under here. Hopefully I can get this out with one hand without, no, actually I zip tied it. Not sure if you can really see down in there very good. Actually, I can probably just see it right up through here. But on top of the power steering box are these cords. And what I've done is I'm not even going to use the handlebar mounted in and out switch that most people would mount. This right here is where that would be. There's a adapter in there that you would hook that to, but I'm not really going to use that. I'm going to use more of the 10 or 12 foot switch, but those I have wrapped up under there and just kind of zip tied and tucked away under there. But this is how I chose to mount that. Pretty easy to get to. I'll just simply take and I wish I had it sitting right here so I could kind of show you, but anyway, you get the idea. That makes it real easy to mount to when you get off. And like I say, these wires are tucked in, and I'm also going to coat all this with dielectric grease, and I'd like to try to come up with some kind of cover to put over this. Probably not really too necessary, but being up high right here keeps it out of most of the water and stuff like that. But I am going to put, either way, I'm going to put a bunch of dielectric grease on all this on all these electrical connections here. So from there, part of this in here is going to have this is the ignition. This is what's gonna, this little red wire goes right around through there, and it connects into this, and see right there. And now this thing I ought to do and tell you, this thing comes with 2 bullet connectors, I think is what they're called. I had done all this and had everything hooked up and turned the power on, and my winch would not work. And I figured it was something to do with this ignition wire. And it turns out, after I had made the connection, the 2 bullet connections, they didn't seem to connect well. So I cut them off, put a regular butt connector on it, and put some dielectric grease in it, butt connected it back up in there. So I have that wire running through right here. This is to the DC, your 12 volt. And when you cut the ignition on, it sends power to it. And I basically, what I did here was on this, the King quads, there's a orange, I think it's an orange with a white stripe. I can't remember. Maybe you might could even see it a little bit in there. Kind of see it a little bit. There's an orange, and then there's a black wire with maybe a white stripe. Anyway, the orange wire is the hot. That is what I connected this to in here. And basically what I wound up having to do was just cut the orange wire and took the hot wire, and I basically put this into one end of the hot wire that I cut, put a butt connector, and the other end, this end, put it in the other end of the butt connector, crimped them down, put dielectric grease on here good, and taped it up. And so that kind of takes care of that. There may be some other wires. This red cable is pretty long, so you can kind of run it anywhere that you can find a hot wire that you can turn on with the key. Some people may just run this straight to the battery. I just did it right to the key. And then as far as running this to the battery, like I say, it comes out through the hose in through here. There's your ground right into the battery, your circuit breaker, and right into the positive. And I opened this up, put dielectric grease on as much as I could. I got dielectric grease there, all pretty much. Matter of fact, all these connections, I went through the whole bike essentially, unplugged, dielectric grease, plugged everything back in, which is something I suggest if you're definitely going to be in water. But that is pretty much it on wiring this thing up. It wasn't too bad. The only problem I had was this red, and it either has to run to the battery, but then it's going to be on, you're going to have constant power so that it could always be on, or to the ignition. And that's what I chose to do. Not that hard. Like I say, it's the orange wire in here that's hot. You can connect it to that. I have already tried this thing out. I've been playing with it, and it does seem to do good. I can probably already tell that I'm going to do away with this cable at some point and go with rope, the synthetic rope. I got a bigger hook for this, and I also got the stopper, whatever it's called, the stopper that would go in your cable so that it's there. And so everything, it's pretty nice. Everything's nice and tucked away. The boots here, dielectric grease on all them. And so it's, I guess it'll be tested the first time this thing gets in water and see what happens. But everything's so good so far. So that's gonna be pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else that really There's not that much to it. It really just, you know, like I say, depend on where you want to mount this. I kind of chose to mount it up here. If you ever have to work on it, it's right here on top, easy. So that's going to be it for this video, and thanks for watching.